Camelot 331 here, and having your life threatened whilst working in retail, which, let's be honest, you kind of want to die anyway when you're in that damn store, kind of sucks. But it's also, you know, kind of a relief, because maybe you'll have a way out if you piss off the right customer. That's a joke, but it's happened to me several times, and I'm gonna give you the prime example. Okay, the prime example of what's going down here. But we're also gonna jump into some good ass delicious samples from people very recently that are going through this awful stuff every single day. I'm here to help you. Before we get into this, make sure you like this video, share it with your boys, give them some love. I'm Shadow Band as hell. Follow me on this account and my alt account down in the description, just in case I get yeeted. Things are scary. But first things first, you like alcohol, you like getting it in your body. Well, sometimes you like it too much and you get busted. I was working in a liquor store in Florida. A guy came to the register with a soft drink. I guess he thought he was slick and pocketed 2 bourbon miniatures. They cost 49 cents each. I rang up his drink and 2 liters of the same brand of bourbon, $7.99 each. He yelled, asking what that was. And I told him it was for the 2 bottles he stole. He said, those were just 49 cents. He told on himself immediately. I told him to pay what I rang up or we'd let the police see what size he had in his pocket. He opted for the police, screaming I was trying to rip him off. He ended up arrested, handcuffed, and taken to jail because he was too cheap to pay for 98 cents. I gotta put this out there because this is something I think a lot of people don't actually realize, is a lot of people actually steal just to steal. Like, it doesn't matter about the price, what they're stealing, when they're stealing. They just steal to steal. It's actually kind of strange. It's so casual, man. I went to a shopping mall for the first time in like 5 years recently. And I was going down the escalator. And there was just a guy standing there at this poster, like kiosk, where there was just posters everywhere. And the guy that worked at the kiosk had just walked away for a second, like to talk to another kiosk person. This dude saw that and walked around casually and stole like 4 posters and just walked off. Didn't run. No sense of urgency. And what's the purpose of stealing a couple posters? But as long as those posters aren't too damn purpley. Says I worked in one of those really big home improvement stores and we had a paint department. I worked in paint for a while and there was nothing worse than the yoga mom turned designer influencer customer. One day, this one comes in and orders 2 gallons of paint. Same color. She gave me the chip that was actually one of our chips, so I didn't have to try and shoot it. I mixed the paint, put the sample on the cover, hit it with a heat gun so she could verify the color, and off she goes. A week later, she returns with the cans both open, both well used, and she starts yelling at me that I mixed it too purpley. And it ruined her shoot. I told her I mixed it according to the code on the chip she gave me. I called the manager over and she started ranting and insulting my intelligence, saying I must be a loser who can't read. I was super pissed when my manager gave her 2 free cans of paint. This is why people act this way. The reason actual adults go into places and start screaming because they understand that they'll get what they want. I've actually seen like parents of friends or like acquaintances like joke with the people, be like, look, watch this, I'll go get it for free. And they'll go scream at somebody because these managers enable the behavior. And if they don't, the district manager will enable the behavior. There is no way around it. It's disgusting. And everybody that does this should be slapped on both cheeks. But what happens if you don't get the thing? It says, I work in a supermarket and our policy is to give an item for free if it scans higher than the ticketed price, which is something that's not out of the realm of reality. As I often am, I was called over to my headset to check a price on something that scanned higher for the customer than expected. Reaching the location in the aisle, I noticed an old ticket price that should have been removed previously was still there. Giving the impression this item was half price, I informed the checkout operator that the price was wrong and thought that was it. A couple minutes later, I hear a call go over the PA informing that there was an aggressive customer at the front end. Basically, this means as many team as possible should attend in order to scare a customer that may be physically violent into backing down with a large presence, like a bear or something. Myself and my manager got there first, and this guy was going on about how he hasn't been charged right for his items. He has 4 items, and the same policy that gave him the first one for free. He would get all subsequent items for the price advertised on the shelf. So he had 1 for free and 3 at half price. He insisted that it was wrong and it should be more expensive. Myself and the manager clearly explained how the policy works and that he was actually better off because he got 1 for free. He wasn't having it and kept arguing and told us to just charge him for all of them. As soon as the final one was put through at half price, his whole tone changed and he calmed down immediately, saying it was already cheap enough. He doesn't understand why it should be free, and then proceeded to leave. I should point out that even at full price, the item is under $5. This sounds completely outlandish, I know. But when I was working at GameStop, on several occasions, once a week, once every month, maybe, I would have somebody come in and buy $200 worth of used games. Back then, we had a discount card that gave you 10% off of used games. So if you didn't have one and you bought $200 worth of used games, getting a discount card actually saved you like $3 total, even after the card's price goes through. So it's like $3. And I would have people yell that they don't want the free card. Like, I'm like, wait, hold on. And I try to explain it in very nice terms. I'm like, this will be $20 cheaper. I can throw the card away after if you want. I'm just saying it'll make your transaction $20 cheaper plus the card, which is $3 cheaper anyway. And they're like, no. And they're mad. And I'm like, okay. Whatever. Everybody thinks you're out to get them. And so much so that they will threaten to kill you over it. It says, I work in a large petrol station in the UK. Me and my colleagues were both serving at the tills. She asked him over the tannoy. Tannoy? Is that a damn, it's at a walkie-talkie to get off his bike while filling. I wasn't looking at the forecourt cameras since they were on her side of the tills. As she authorizes the pump for him, she goes out for a smoke break, so I switch to her till so I can monitor the forecourt cameras. I'm still serving customers as usual, and this guy comes in to pay. I can tell he's pissed, but I'm calm and polite as usual. He rudely asks me why he has to get off his bike, so I try to explain that it's for health and safety. He interrupts me and says because I think he's going to drive off is what he thinks. I tell him that's not why, but even so, we had a motorcycle drive off this very morning, so it's a good reason to be careful. He argues with me for a while, pays, and says, if you ask me again, I'll come inside and snap your neck. Damn. Completely insane behavior for such a simple request. People are psycho. People are absolutely ass backwards psycho. When the PlayStation, I believe it was the PlayStation 4 came out. Yeah. In 2014 or 13 or whatever. It was a long time ago. We had a waiting list when I was working at GameStop, and it was like 15 pages long. And if somebody called and said, hey, I would like to, I'm looking for a PS4, we would say, well, we already reserved them all, but we can add you to a waiting list. We had 152 reserved. That's the only amount that Sony shipped us. Therefore, we couldn't reserve more until the console was already out. And that's where we would go off of the waiting list. So everybody that reserved one got theirs the first day. Every subsequent shipment, we would call people on the waiting list, tell them to come in. Well, I had a guy call almost every day asking for PS4s and information. And I was like, hey, man, go ahead and get on the waiting list. By the way, plot twist, he could have been one of the first names on there. But that's beside the point. He kept saying no, he doesn't want to be on the waiting list for weeks and weeks. He calls me wanting to get a PlayStation 4 because he can't get one anywhere else. He can't find one. I'm so shocked, right? Well, I say, hey man, we won't have any for a while. We have our waiting list to go through, and then we'll be selling them to the public. And he was so livid, and I recognized the guy, so I was like, man, I asked you to get on a waiting list like 20 times, and you kept saying no. He comes down to the store to wait in line, just try to get one. We didn't even have them. He then tells me he's going to wait until I get off and he's going to kill me. He implies he's going to kill me. But he sits out in the parking lot, and of course I call the police. And he sits there for hours waiting for me to get off. Call the police. Please come to him and find out he does have a shotgun in his car. And the police deal with it after that. And I'm thinking to myself, how are you that mad for that long? I'm only mad. I'm like a firecracker, right? I get mad for like a second and then it's over. It's crazy, man. And that happened on several occasions. I've been threatened to be killed several times. And I might be happier as a result if that would have happened. I'm going to be completely honest. Because I could have been asleep right now. Forever. Make sure you like this video. Share it with your boys. Trying to have a good time. Trying to have fun. And I can't have fun if you're not kissing me on the forehead and assuring me everything's going to be okay. I'll see you guys later. Appreciate you guys so much for checking me out. I hope you guys come back, give me some love, get the hell on it, diggity doggone it, and make sure you eat yourself some candy corn because it's delicious. I don't care what you say, bitch.